Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, and today we'll be hiking in the Shenandoah River State Park in Bentonville, Virginia. This hike is the Cabin Connector Trail that will go into the Big Oak Trail, which will then go into the Ridtail Ridge Trail. Along the Ridtail Ridge Trail, you'll see three viewpoints along this video. This is a pretty easy hike. It's fairly flat. There's a few uphill sections, but it's nothing too hard. The first section here on the Cabin Connector, it's about a 3/10 of a mile of a trail until it connects into the Big Oak Trail. I paused here for a second because I heard something rustling over in the woods. It turned out to be a white-tailed deer. Unfortunately, the camera didn't capture it. This hike was filmed on a Monday. It was filmed on Monday, January the 30th in 2023. It was pretty quiet that day. Along the hike out on this trail, I didn't pass anyone. On the way back, there was a mountain biker that came through. The Ridtail Ridge Trail is a shared hiking and mountain biking trail, but low traffic this day, very quiet, nice weather. It was one of the warmer days in January. It was probably in the mid 50s this day. It was pretty nice. The parking area for the beginning of the Cabin Connector Trail, I'd say it's a medium-sized parking lot. There is parking right at the head of the trail for two cars, but to the left of the trail there are two cabins and a really large roundabout that you could probably fit 5 to 8 cars in that roundabout. So during the week, parking was no problem. I was the only car. If you show up here on a Saturday, I have done this hike on a Saturday before, it does get a little full, but I still had no problem finding a parking spot when I was here on the weekend a few months back. Another name for this park is the Raymond R. Andy Guest Jr. State Park. That was named after a Virginia delegate who was a longtime resident of the area. So you may see it called either Shenandoah River State Park or Andy Guest Jr. State Park. I believe both names are on the sign when you drive in. This park was established in 1994 and it covers 1,619 acres. This park was established in 1994, but it did not open until 1999. There's plenty of hiking here. There's over 24 miles of trails. Hiking, mountain biking is available on certain trails along with horseback riding. There's also a large parking lot for people that have horses and trailers to park in. This park also includes a large amount of river frontage. So there are some boat launches there. There's plenty of picnic area along the river that you can eat at. There's also quite a few cabins that are available for rent. You can get on the Virginia State Park website and reserve those. They tend to fill up pretty quickly, so if you do want one, you're going to want to reserve one a few months in advance. One nice thing about Virginia State Parks, they're very well mapped. They always have a lot of these trailhead markers here to show you which way to go. The trees usually have markers on them here, and everything is color coded. All Virginia State Parks also have PDFs of the trails on their website. If you want, you could print off a trail map there before you go out, or you can download the Avenza app, Avenza. It is an app that even if you don't have cell service, as long as you have GPS on your phone, you can look at the map and you'll show up as a blue dot and you'll be able to see exactly where you're at on all the trails. So here at this intersection, I'm turning off the Big Oak Trail and I'm getting ready to turn onto the Ridtail Ridge Trail. Way out in the distance there was a large woodpecker I was staring at. Again, the camera doesn't show it up very well, but it was out there. This was another intersection. Of course, I was walking straight along onto the Redtail Ridge Trail. The Culliver Trail is a trail that will actually take you down along the Shenandoah River. There is a fee to enter this park. It is $10 per car. You can do that, or you can buy a Virginia State Park Pass, and you just pay one fee and you're able to get in any park year round, unlimited. To buy that, the parking and admission to all Virginia State parks, it's $85 a year, and it is good for 12 months. So if you're going to visit more than 8 to 10 parks in a year, or you plan to go to one park more than 8 or 10 times, you're much better off buying the annual park pass that gives you unlimited visits. It'll pay for itself after 8 to 10 visits. If you do want to bring your horse here to ride, there is an additional $4 per person charge for each horse. At this point, I heard something in the background. Don't know what type of animal it was. I had to pause and stop and look around. I didn't see anything though. Again, you can see the red marker there on the tree. All these trails are very well marked in Virginia State Parks. You see them everywhere, so it's pretty hard to get off the trail unless you really want to go off the trail, which I wouldn't advise. One thing about hiking in this area in January, this area is home to two venomous snakes, the copperhead and the rattlesnake. January though, they all seem to be in hibernation, so you don't have to worry about that. Rattlesnakes at least make a noise, copperheads don't, and they can hide out in some of these leaves here. But that's one great thing about January. They're not typically out this time of year because it's so cold out. This is also black bear country, so you got to watch out for the bears. I've seen bears, never really had an issue with them. If you do come across one or see one in the distance, I've always just made a lot of noise. They seem to be more scared of you than you are of them. Usually make some noise, they run away or run up in a tree or something. So while I've seen them, I've never had a real issue with them. So here we are, we're coming up on our first overlook on this trail. This is the Shenandoah River that we're looking at here. You see these nice benches here. Another good thing about Virginia State Parks, they seem to have some really nice benches. And there's nothing better than to sit down a little bit and take a break and look at the views, especially this view here at this overlook. So I sat down there, I had about a 5 minute break, and then I decided to continue on with the journey. This is also a horse trail, so sometimes you do have to watch your step. You'll see a few landmines along the trail here that I'm walking around. And those are landmines left by the horses, not actual real landmines, by the way. You'll see while you hike along this entire ridge here, you pretty much have a good view of the Shenandoah River along your entire hike while you're along the ridge. I haven't actually been here when there's been leaves on the trees, but you can probably still peek through them with leaves, but definitely here in the winter you get a clear view your entire hike. During this day, I was wearing hiking boots while I was walking along here. You could probably do this trail in normal tennis shoes if you wanted. It is a little muddy in spots, so if you do have on tennis shoes, make sure it's a pair that you're not afraid to get dirty. Otherwise, hiking boots are nice. I mean, I wear them as much as I can just for the extra support, and if they do get muddy, they're easy to clean. I don't have to worry about them uh, all the time. There is a farm below down in the distance there. Every now and again, you can hear horses and cows while you're along this hike. During this part of the trail, it does start going a little bit downhill. So if you do choose to make this an out and back trail, which is what I did, um, you will have to walk back up, but it's not too bad. It's not too steep of a grade. You do also have an option to make this a loop trail. It makes the hike a bit longer. It probably adds an extra, I'd say around an extra 3/4 of a mile if you chose to make this a loop trail. You could take this Redtail Ridge Trail. It does connect back into the Big Oak Trail, which would loop you right back around into the Cabin Connector Trail and take you back to the parking area. If you do that, you're hiking more through the woods at that point. I don't believe there's, too many views. If you just want some solitude walking through the woods, you could do that loop. I chose to make this an out and back, just because you get the view of the ridge, out and coming back. You can stop at all the viewpoints again. Here we are, we're coming up to our second overlook here. We'll see there's another bench. There's nothing like a good bench to stop and take a break and set on. It's pretty good view here, overlooking the floodplain down below. There is a trail down there. You can see that trail that runs along the river there. That is part of the park. It's called the River Trail. Imagine that. And it's a pretty long trail. It's a really long trail. If you want to walk that, um, it's around 2 miles each way, but then it also connects into several other trails. Um, so if you want a really long hike, you could do that one and be down along the river. Again, there's my bench. Nothing like a good bench to set on. All right. After about another 5-minute break there, decided it's time to continue on again and head on to the third and final overlook of this trail. If you've made it this far into the video, you might as well hit the subscribe button and also hit the like button and ring the notification bell for future notifications. If you're curious to what equipment I used to film this, I'll also leave links to that in the description below. Here we are at the last intersection. As you can see, the last overlook is to the left. If you keep going straight, that's what keeps you on the Big Oak Trail, which can also be used as make it as a loop to go back to the parking area. Like I said, I instead chose to make this an out and back, and I just retraced my steps and back the way I came so I can see the views once more. You'll see up ahead here there is a tree down in the middle of the trail. It's pretty unusual. They usually do a pretty good job here at the state parks at clearing these away not long after they fall. I'm sure this tree was probably cleared away within a day or two of me coming along here. You'll see to the right here that's a hitching post for the horses, since this is also used as a horse trail. Coming up now on the last viewpoint, see there is also another bench there to the right. This one's a little more rustic than the previous two we saw, but it still does its purpose. This view and the first view are probably my favorite views along this hike. This you can get a pretty good panorama here along the Shenandoah River from this last viewpoint. One last thing I did notice here, there wasn't an official geocache that was left at this overlook. I know the Virginia State Parks do have a geocache trail at every park, and there was this one. I didn't open it though, but it was there. Well, we're just about to the end of our hike. It would also be greatly appreciated if you followed me on Instagram and Twitter. I'll also have those links in the description below. I give updates there of places I go and the videos that I post. This spot was also part of the overlook. It's a little bit over to the right. It gives you a little bit different of an angle of the river. You can see a small building down there below. That's an access shed that the Park Service uses. Well, this is going to bring us to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Remember, hit the subscribe button and hit the like button, and beware, more videos we'll post in the future.